Hey guys, wanted to get on here and give you guys an update on the F-150. This month will be my third month owning it, so I wanted to update you guys. Um, I've done a decent amount of work to it already, so I guess I'll go in order of what I did first to what I did most recently. So I put these Hella Comet 550 fog lights on here. Haven't really used them that much, but I think they look cool. Makes the front of the truck look pretty cool. And then I believe next thing I did after that was I got a set of worn manual locking hubs, and I swapped out the auto hubs. It wasn't too bad of a process to do. You need the tool for taking the spindle nut off the auto hubs, which is I forget what size. I think it's 2 5/8 or 2 3/8 rounded 6-point socket. I got one from Harbor Freight was selling. It's the only place I could find in a store was Harbor Freight had them in a kit. That was like $80, which that kind of sucks, but it did come with a lot of other tools that I'm sure I might use in the future, so I ended up keeping that. But I had to modify that one in the kit because it was just like slightly too big, so I had to grind down all the points. But yeah, you need to get that, and you need to get the proper socket with the 4 pegs on each corner for the manual locking hub spindle nuts. But other than that, it was a fairly easy swap. And now my 4-wheel drive actually works, so that's pretty good. Unfortunately, despite the fact that we've recently gotten 16 inches of snow, obviously now it's all melted by now, but unfortunately I didn't get to really test out the 4-wheel drive in the snow because they came and plowed all the snow the fastest that I've ever seen the township come and plow the streets. So usually our street is one of the last streets to get plowed, but they cleared out all the roads pretty quick, so I didn't get to test out 4-wheel drive in the snow. Eventually I'll take it to Lake Assunpink or something and go off-roading there, but just haven't found the time to do that. Then I put new taillight housings on it, put some funny stickers on the back, and I found my license plate frame that I had on my Bronco when I was in high school, so I put that on there. Let's see, after that, I put new door locks and everything, and the ignition switch, key cylinder, whatever, in it, because the doors, when they swapped these doors on, they didn't put the locks in, so from the original doors, so you couldn't lock the doors with the key that I got, so I just ended up getting a whole new lock set. And then I also put go over to that side. I got new window regulators, door latches, and hinge pins, because this door, the hinge pins were shot on it. You know, it had the typical droop when you opened it, and you'd have to really slam it to get it to close. But put new latch on it, window regulator. That was the biggest pain in the butt that I have ever had doing something like that, because in order to get the latch out, you have to unbolt the track for the window, because the track for the window is right here and the latch is sandwiched between it. There's no room to get out without taking that track loose, at least. The window regulator wasn't really that bad, but I was fighting with it, trying to get the new one in. I want to say the whole process of doing just this door took me, I think, 4 hours, and I was originally intending on doing both doors that day, but I put this one together and said, screw it, I'm going to leave the other one for another day, because really the only issues I have with that door are that the latch is a little loose, like it makes a rattly noise when the door is shut, and the window regulator could get replaced, but it's not really that bad. But yeah, as far as the interior, I haven't really done much. I did end up, I don't remember if I pointed it out in the last video, but I ended up cutting the steering wheel, the leather wrapping around it, because it was worn out at the top and it was just nasty, and I could always get a steering wheel cover for it, but I actually don't mind it without the wrap. And I scraped the tint off of both windows and the driver's side smoker window. I just haven't gotten around to doing this one. But the other thing I did when I was working on this door is this cab corner, you know, had a little piece here that was really crusty looking. So I poked it and it was loose. So I just I took it out, and it's just like my Bronco. There's even a piece here. They have this foam that they put in the cab corners and dog legs that just rots them out. And unfortunately, I don't know if I can get that. Yeah. Unfortunately, this cab corner is detached from the rocker panel, so I'm gonna have to figure something out with that, or just suck it up and do the cab corners, but I kind of don't want to. I know in the last video it had it on, but I got my toolbox in here. It's got a pretty decent bed liner in it. I'm gonna end up taking the bed liner out and doing a roll-on bed liner, because this one holds water a little bit and it covers up the holes for tie downs in the stake pockets, and I don't feel like cutting it. Like, yeah, I don't want to cut it for those holes, but you know, it would be nice to be able to tie stuff down. I mean, you can tie down stuff to the actual stake pockets on top, but it doesn't really offer that much of a anchor point. I mean, you can see this one's all bent. And then I don't know if there's anything really obvious under the hood, but the other thing is, so this truck has keyless entry, and at one point it was working fine. When I first got it, I took the door panels off because the keyless entry wasn't working, and I wanted to see if everything was connected, and I believe this door was disconnected, and that door, the wires were cut. So I put the wires together on that door, I connected everything up, and then the keyless entry would work, but when you hit the unlock button, the driver's door would unlock and the passenger door would lock. And if you hit the lock button, the opposite would happen. which is really weird because it's not like I got the wires hooked up backwards in the passenger door. And one day, I parked in a parking lot, locked it, and then, I think you'd hit the lock button and the passenger door would lock and the driver's door wouldn't do anything, so I'd have to manually lock it. But one day I came back out, hit the unlock button, opened the door, and then the alarm starts going off. And every time you hit open the door, the alarm would go off. So I ended up just deciding I'm not using it. It would only do it if you unlocked it with the remote. So I just decided I'm not using the remote anymore. I don't know if it just wasn't detecting the signal to disarm the security system or what, but it also wouldn't set off the alarm if I just unlocked it with the key. So it's really weird. When I did the door latch on that side, I just didn't bother putting the electric lock actuator back on. Mostly because it's on a single cab pickup truck especially, it's not really necessary. I mean, it's just 2 locks. But yeah, let's see. I don't really know if I did anything noteworthy under the hood, but if I could find the hood release, that'd be great. I know, again, I don't really remember what I talked about in the last video, but when I got it, it developed a water pump leak. I have fixed that by putting a new water pump on. I've also put on new idler pulley, tensioner, same belt. Didn't buy a belt for it, but that's not really a huge deal to me. Another thing is I washed the reservoir for the coolant and the washer fluid out, because the washer fluid, it would only pump fluid out if the truck was warmed up. If it was cold, it was below freezing, it wouldn't pump washer fluid. So I flushed that out, and the coolant reservoir it's still pretty punky inside, but it's a lot better than it was, and it used to just be straight up clogged. With just a bunch of muck in the bottom, so I just ended up blowing all that out. As far as anything else goes, I put a new idler control valve on it. It has this issue where the idle kind of varies, whether it's cold or hot. If it's just sitting in park, it kind of varies by a couple hundred RPM, goes up and down, up and down. Usually I would think that's the IAC valve, but in this case it wasn't. I have to figure out what else it could be. I don't quite remember. I had the same problem on my Bronco. A similar problem on my Bronco, where it would idle up way too high, no matter what the temperature the engine was at, and that ended up being the idler control valve, but it wasn't in this case. And then most recently on Saturday or Sunday, I put all new light housings in the front. The original ones were obviously original, very faded and yellowed and nasty looking. And I put these new ones in, so they're looking pretty nice. And yeah, I mean, that's gonna be pretty much it as far as stuff that I've done to it. Now we can move on to plans that I have for it. Biggest thing for me is the paint, obviously, especially the fenders, because they're just, at this point, they're just bare steel, and I want to get them painted before they start pitting and looking terrible. Probably too late for that, but yeah, I want to get this thing painted. I'm thinking of doing it same colors as my Bronco, black with the tan Eddie Bauer stripe on the bottom. My only real holdup with that is I'm not sure that black would come out the best. And also, this is the original paint. And if I buff a spot, it doesn't really show up good there, but I feel like this original paint could buff up pretty good. And obviously the cab, the cowl panel, and the hood are all, and the rocker panel, rock guard or whatever, are all factory colors. And the other part of me would like to paint the fenders, doors, and bed the factory colors and leave the cab and everything else that's already that green as it is. That way, if the paint on the rest of the truck comes out bad, it's not any worse than the paint that's already there. And I don't have to paint the whole truck. So I might end up doing that, or I might end up just painting the fenders, doors, and bed black and with tan on the bottom and leaving the green. I'd rather have it be 2 different colors than 4 different colors. Technically 5. And then when it gets consistently warmer out and a little drier, I want to pull the bed off and replace the fuel tanks and wire wheel, needle scale the frame, underside of the bed, paint everything, because I mean the bed is pretty punky, the frame's pretty punky. I want to get that stuff all coated up in paint at least. You know, keep this thing going for another few years. The big thing for me is I will probably end up doing the 38-gallon tank mod. That's basically a, like, I believe, I don't know what Ford trucks they come out of, but I think it might have been like an option on the brick noses or something to have an extended capacity rear tank. I believe it's twice as deep as the factory tank, so it wouldn't hang below the trailer hitch. And my intention with doing that is that tank in the back, the fuel pump's dead, it's rotted out. You know, there's no saving that. The tank in the front has like a very slight weep to it. So whenever you're on the truck, around the truck, it always kind of smells like gas. You can see that rot spot on the skid plate beneath the gas tank. I believe that is where the tank is crusting, rotting through, or it's around the seam or something. But occasionally I've filled it all the way up and it starts to leave a puddle. But recently, no matter what, it doesn't leave a puddle, but it's always a little wet on the bottom. So basically that tank's shot. Combined, they have a capacity of like 34 gallons. What I would probably end up doing is taking both tanks out, putting a 38-gallon tank in, and then just having the one tank. You know, that way I don't have to deal with the fuel selector valve or whatever. I don't even know if that one works. Obviously I can't try it, but brand new, those valves are like $150. The tanks together come out to be like $180, $200. And then I have to get the fuel pumps and sending units and whatever. And at the end of the day, it's going to be more expensive to replace these tanks than it would be to just do the 38-gallon tank mod. And if I do the 38-gallon tank mod, I have a much simpler fuel system and more fuel capacity. That way I don't have to fill this thing up every few days. And then I'm debating, I have a roll bar for this truck that it came with, but it was just kind of sitting in the bed. And unfortunately, you can't bolt the roll bar in without getting rid of this bed liner. So that's the reason I'm probably gonna end up giving it to my brother. I'm gonna put the roll bar in, do a roll-on bed liner. It'll all be kumbaya. Only issue with that is I really do like having this toolbox in here, and I have to figure out what I would do in terms of a toolbox, because I would really prefer to have, you know, I got my toolbox in a toolbox in there. I got fluids and stuff in there, some other stuff. You know, it's really useful. So I would like to keep some sort of toolbox in it. Obviously, it would look pretty stupid if I put the toolbox on the back of the bed or behind the roll bar or whatever. So yeah, I have to figure out what to do about that. My other idea is just keep the toolbox, do a roll-on bed liner, and live with it. I like that roll bar though. I kind of do want to put that in. I don't know, but that's my big debate, is do I put the roll bar in or not? And then obviously I got to get emblems for it. I want to figure out if I can find a new buddy seat, because that one, the console is missing all the doors, and that console is nasty. There's like a bunch of melted candy in the top. I just scraped out as much as I could and I bought a sheet of rubber and put it on the bottom so I don't have to look at it. I want to get new carpet for it, and new door panels at some point, because these ones, the clips for the window sweeps are all broken, and the inside of these doors are super nasty, like dusty, like it was a quarry truck or something. Other mods I want to do are I want to put a CB radio in it, get a big CB whip on the back, PA speaker in the front, and I mean, that's pretty much it. Essentially, I want this thing to be the truck version of my old Bronco, because I always really liked that Bronco, and I always felt like, you know, the only thing that could make it better is if it was an F-150. The only thing that would make me love it more is if it was an F-150. So yeah, I also want to find a new tailgate, because on the outside this one's pretty nice looking, but then you look at it and it's super caved in, and it's obviously not the correct tailgate for an Eddie Bauer. It doesn't have the stainless trim on the back, which I could always buy it and drill the holes and everything, but I wouldn't want to really do that on a tailgate that's caved in and dented on the top. And new tailgates aren't super cheap for these, so. And obviously it needs a bumper. It actually needs both bumpers. This one's bent and tweaked and pushed in towards the truck, and then the front bumper, it needs the trim, but it also has some rot through, so I want to get a new grill for it too. But basically just a lot of cosmetic stuff. I don't plan on doing anything mechanical to it modification wise, apart from maybe an exhaust or something like that. But yeah, apologies for the very long video, but hey, if you stuck around this long, I appreciate it. Obviously there will be more to come in the future on the truck and on the Jeep, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.